I mean, can we send this to Paramount?
Yeah, but for you have to make a copy.
We should have one for safety for our own records.
Yeah.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
We want it just like it was. A brand new dune-buggy. You might use the courtesy of delivering it to the house. You got until noon tomorrow.
Otherwise?
Otherwise.
Otherwise we'll get mad.
We'll get mad.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to MaJaMa Jams. We are MaJaMa, sitting around discussing other people's work instead of doing our own. Now today, in keeping with our unofficial desperate label as the most Italian movie discussion show on YouTube, we are cracking open a massive franchise that was known to that one, but not to these two. Man, we are getting into it. It is none other than Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer, the star duo of 18 movies as a duo and a handful more as solo. I have a ton of questions about that right off the bat because that seems like some sort of world record for on-screen duo. I could be wrong. But we did what Matteo has told me is their biggest hit of all time. Watch Out, We're Mad, otherwise literally translated and also quoted directly from the movie as Otherwise We'll Get Mad.
Yes.
Which I kind of almost like more.
Why? I mean, why so many titles?
Oh, I don't know. It's I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You know, not too tangent-y, kind of
He said he doesn't know.
On topic with this. After years of you explaining to me the difficulty of translation, I just finished Don Quixote, gifted to me by the Italian, who's essentially responsible for all of my entertainment development these past chunk of years. Just finished it, and it has little footnotes by the translator, and she breaks down how she can't translate the wordplay. So after all these years of you hearing about it, I had something tactile to be like, oh, there's no translation in English, so the wordplay Miguel Cervantes did not work.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting to actually see examples of that. I imagine there's something similar going on here.
The woman's name was Miguel?
Yes, she's a very famous Spanish novelist.
Me.
Miguel Cervantes died penniless and alone and was tortured and kidnapped his whole life. So I start to feel better and better about it. It's not about success as an author while you're living. Only when you're dead. Remember that and write a book.
Beg your pardon?
Anyway, getting into it, guys. We have a lot to discuss. This was a little bundle of joy. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed it and have a lot of things to say about it. But we're going to start off with that boring plot synopsis, which hopefully will unanimously vote to axe because it just sucks. But Matteo, I'm going to hand it over to you. Let's go through it as speedily, as zippily as the plot is, and let's get into the gorgeous mechanics behind the Bud and Terrence franchise.
All right. So two friends who we don't know how they know each other, but they kind of like tolerate each other. Participate to a rally which has the first prize a red dim-buggy with a yellow top. They both win it by reaching it simultaneously, so they get it. But at the same time, a gang of crooks goes to destroy or at least to try to destroy an amusement park, a small amusement park.
With much vigor.
With much vigor, nearby the auto shop that Bud Spencer runs. And in doing so, they destroy the red dim-buggy with a yellow top. So Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill go to the head honcho of this gang asking for a dim-buggy back. He refuses, and so they get mad.
We're already mad.
And they do anything in their power to re-get the dim-buggy as they want. And eventually, after a few brawls,
Scuffles,
kerfuffles, yes, they finally get what they want. They get two dim-buggies, but unfortunately one gets trashed, and so they are back to square one. They want to play it to hot dog and beer. That's about it.
Other than Hell's a-Poppin', which I think we literally just went off in a sentence and then talked about the chaos of it. That might be the best, quickest consensus, or synopsis, ever. We need to get more like that.
All right,
Enough of this
now you
rambling.
try to see if you can go faster, and I'll go.
All right, there's two guys. They're friends. They get their prize dune buggy stolen. They're pissed about it. They try to get it back through fights, and then the bad guys give it back to them, but they crash and still need one. Still felt too long. Dudes, dune buggy, fights, dune buggy.
Are dune buggies still a thing? They
should
seem like
be.
they were a huge thing in the 60s.
The Manson family, in my book about Charles Manson, was fervently trying to build them in preparation for the oncoming race war. True
Dune
fact.
buggies?
Yeah, Charlie was obsessed with building, I guess, reinforced and weaponized dune buggies. It was a big thing
Like
to
Mad
them.
Max?
Funnily enough, I think that's exactly what they were trying to do.
I guess I just picture Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Speed buggy!
That's me.
Charlie behind one.
I remember that Kurt Russell is driving one in Now You See Him, Now You Don't by Disney. And there is a murder on a beach in A View to a Kill, I think.
With a dune buggy?
With a dune-buggy. They run over a woman. It's either I can't remember right now, or maybe it's for your ears only.
Lizzo, come back!
The dune buggy bears a striking resemblance to the iconic Little Tikes car.
Yes.
Classic kids car of the red with the scoop yellow top.
And even
which
the black bars.
I thought was, man, where do I even start? That alone was a fun, like, you could sense their childlike glee in getting this prize, and the fact of the specificity of make sure it's red with the yellow.
Yes.
Okay, everything works here. Everything works. Always where to start when I have so much to say about it, but
we can start with this tiny, as quick as possible story of Bud Spencer and Terence Hill.
okay, yes, it's a good point.
Okay, Matthew?
Bud Spencer is not the guy from Red
Pieces.
Christmas Pieces.
Willard, when do you expect your work will be finished here with us on the campus?
I don't know. Maybe in a week or two, maybe more. You don't have to worry. It won't cost you any more.
Red Christ Pieces.
Reese's
You
Pieces.
thought The Passion of the Christ was hardcore. Mel Gibson is back with the sequel, Red Christ Pieces. The Prince of Peace is in pieces and he's pissed. This Easter, I've been reassembled and my father is pissed.
Nein! Nein! Nein!
Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, unlike what a lot of people think, they're both Italian. Bud Spencer was born first
Yeah, can you imagine?
as Carlo Pedersoli, and Terence Hill
No wonder he changed to Bud Spencer.
as Mario Girotti. And since at the time the spaghetti western were rampant,
We do a spaghetti western on the show.
the movies that they
Or eat spaghetti while watching a western.
where they actually met, it didn't sound right to have Italian names in a western. So they started to look for a pseudonym in general, and Bud Spencer found his pseudonym because he loved Spencer Tracy and he drank a lot of Budweiser.
And Spencer
Budweiser.
Tracy is
The same as James Whitmore.
He is the actor from Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Yes, and it's a mad word.
Bernie Mac?
This has been a very strange day. I don't think that's putting it too strongly. I might even say it's been an extraordinary day.
I think I've said this to you guys, but it must be said on camera because to me it's just like it's
must
so
be.
close. Maybe I did say it on camera. You might have a better memory because you edit these goddamn things. Ron Perlman's line in Pacific Rim of "My name is Hannibal Chow. How'd you come up with that?" And he says it's my favorite something in my favorite Korean food restaurant. Every time you tell me how Bud got his name, I'm like, oh, he loved drinking Buds and Spencer Tracy. I'm like, that is that line. Again, I butchered the Ron Perlman line. but that's exactly what that name birthing makes me think of.
So I take it you're Hannibal Chow, right?
I like the name. I took it from my favorite historical character and my second favorite Szechuan restaurant in Brooklyn.
Terence Hill, there are several stories on how he got the name. One being that his wife, who then on the set was a dialect coach for English, because these movies were shot in English, was Laurie Hill. And it seemed that it just sounded right, Terence Hill.
It's very
emasculating.
No, I think it's a very.
I mean, to take your wife's last name.
Classic.
Whatever
white
works.
boy, and he looks like an all-American white boy, blonde hair.
How thick was her accent?
And when we were together on the screen, the audience would respond, and they liked it to see us together. And so that happened that more and more we started doing films together, maybe, and then at the end we became a team.
Terence and I, we don't like the violence, and for this reason our violence is comic violence.
And funnily enough, they're dubbed both in English as well as in Italian, because in Italian the movies were shot in English. Anyways, so
did they dub themselves in it?
Not always.
We're not hearing their voices.
No.
You knew that, man.
I did know that, but I was still. It's weird. So.
Yes.
What
Man,
was
Italy's cinema is a weird fucking just
two questions.
swirling vortex of.
Wait, and then we go back to them. In this movie, there are two main English-speaking people. There's John Sharp, who is the boss baby, if you will,
the original boss baby,
and Donald Pleasance, or Pleasance.
Yeah, how is it pronounced?
I never know.
Both of whom we could spend the whole episode.
Probably.
Are going to.
Well, in the Italian version of the movie, which is called Altrimenti ci arrabbiamo, which is Otherwise We Get Mad.
Sono così cattivo che certe volte mi faccio persino paura da solo.
Questo significa tu non esser guarito perché tu non devi aver paura di tua cattiveria.
They were both dubbed by Oreste Lionello, who is the Italian, he was, because he passed away, he was the Italian voice of Woody Allen.
C'è una vecchia storiella. Due vecchiette sono ricoverate nel solito pensionato per anziani e una di loro dice: ragazza mia, il mangiare qua dentro fa veramente pena, e l'altra: sì, è uno schifo, ma poi che porzioni piccole. Beh, essenzialmente è così che io guardo la vita.
And he dubbed them both, and you could
different
not,
voices,
yes, he could not tell. I'll put it here.
What are you worried about? Everything. Hey! He didn't do it on purpose.
I did it on purpose.
Me too!
But let's go back to Bud Spencer.
This is my question, real
Yes.
quick. It's a comedic question, but you always say like, "Oh, this person had to change their name because it sounded to fill in other ethnicity or nationality here." Has the reverse ever happened?
Think that's funny?
Where like someone. Has the reverse ever happened where someone like wants to go to Italy to do something? It's like, "Hey man, I'm here in Italy. I want to make some pasta." And they're like, "Your name is not Italian enough. Jason Ellsworth, you sound like a white boy. You want to make a pasta? We make you Antonio Grazzini."
I mean, you're just talking about if you move to Italy and you start working in some random restaurant, they're going to make you change your legally change your name to
I'm
sound
being
more Italian.
comedic, but I have a genuine question of like, does the reverse ever happen, or the entire world is trying to come to America and we're all like,
yes,
"Yeah, you sound like a friggin' foreigner. Why don't you sound more like a white man, then you can work?"
The entire world.
The entire world wants to come here?
I mean, at least in terms of, I think, film.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, Sergio Leone, who's probably the most famous director of spaghetti western, his first movies, he signed them as Bob Robertson.
Oh my God!
Because
Bob Robertson.
His dad's name was Roberto, so Robertson is the son of Robert.
Okay.
And Bob is Roberto, is Robert. Plus, it has this. I don't want to say exotic because it's not exotic, the English, but an English name, it's somehow outside of the United States, it's seen like more, oh, they know how to make movies. You know, there is this sort of they're legitimate.
When you were
the Johnsons seem competent.
Yes.
Okay.
When thumbs up again.
Don't count on it.
When you were learning English,
Yes.
was there a sort of...
I still am.
Was there a sort of exotic musical quality? Because I still, like, when you say the Italian names and it just comes out so naturally with the accent, I'm literally like, just say something long sentence in Italian. Because, again, I always go back to the Inglourious Basterds thing.
Un'altra volta, ma adesso vorrei proprio sentire la musica delle parole.
I remember your brother Stefano, we were at a diner once and I said that, and he was like, it's the same way with English, which of course my brain, because it just feels like like, hey, we're American, we want a hot dog and a beer, as opposed to like, mi si cotola patacanti,
Okay, we're going to cut that part out.
We're 50%, I can do that.
Don't worry, I'm Italian, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly, as long as a person who is
not
that
okay
here.
with it.
It's like, because you're gay, we can talk about homos.
We can?
Yes.
Because, look, there's one here that's not getting upset. What was I fucking saying, man? No,
we were talking about the musicality.
Right, so is the English sounds that way to you guys?
It does, but the main difference is, and I notice when some English-speaking people reads Italian...
ESPs.
Yes. Read...
Have you ever, like, met an ESP?
Not again!
They said, so, like, have you met an SP?
In Italian sounds more, not musical, but more punctuated, because long words not necessarily have the exact same sound because of the accent. Hey.
Ooh, that was beautiful.
Yes!
Bud passed.
I'm sorry?
Bud passed.
Bud passed.
Terrence is still with us.
Yes.
But you said, and then we got to move on because there's a lot to talk about in the movie.
But he said he was alive at some point.
Yes.
Oh.
You said that they were speaking
Most of the time.
English on set.
Yes.
I don't. It's not good enough English, or they?
It's like my English. If you want to, especially since later on in the movies, in the westerns they were playing Americans, and so if I am playing an American, nobody would buy it.
Okay, because they might have spoken
they
well,
just
but
kept with
they
it.
just can't get past that accent.
Right? Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
Like most Americans.
Spaghetti.
Oh, you say spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
I'd never heard anybody call it that. I thought it was spaghetti. Back me up on this, right? It's spaghetti.
Yes, and that is yes, and that is why there's always a big debate whether it's spaghetti or spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
In Italian, it's spaghetti.
So if you're in Italy, you should say, I would like a big bowl of spaghetti.
Correct.
Probably not a big bowl of, that doesn't sound right either, but spaghetti.
All right, look, this is very fun, and I love the tangential. There's a lot I want to talk about with this. So that's a him line. Don't take his shtick.
Sorry. But anyways, so I'm sorry. Just to go back to Bud Spencer started as a sport guy. He did the 2 Olympic Games as a swimmer.
What?
Yep.
So he wasn't the bulk. He was.
No, but
Weren't we watching the doc all together?
yes.
Okay.
But he is Jason. You know.
No, it's getting bad. It really is getting bad. There's even sometimes I'm watching the movie and without even thinking about it, I'm like, wait, what, I missed something? That's why when you guys do the synopsis, I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Totally, I remember that.
He played some football. He played, mostly he was in swimming teams and stuff. And he didn't really want to get into acting, but he was eventually convinced to do some bit parts here and there. And one day he was about to shoot a Western with one of the greatest titles ever, which was God Forbids, I Don't.
God Forgives.
God Forgives, I Don't. And
That is a great fucking title.
And it's a very good title. And his co-star broke a foot the week before. So all of a sudden they rush in Terence Hill. And that was the first time that they got paired.
His foot was already broken, so it was okay.
Yes. Even if the movie was not written for necessarily a pair, but they met on that set.
And the sparks flew.
And yes, and they did a couple of other movies, and was until they did the 2 movies of Trinity. They Call Me Trinity and Trinity Is Still My Name.
No. Can I go to bed, or you got something else planned for tonight?
Well, I really came for a drink.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't let them call Ma old.
But it's true.
Yeah, but she ain't that old.
Also westerns.
Also westerns, but, and here there are so many stories, and the one that I want to like the best, because is the one that it sounds so real, is that they made a comedy western, which was impossible to finance. In fact, the writer Enzo Barboni, who was going with the name of E.B. Clusher, it took him forever to get the financing, and finally one producer accepted it. It says it's very hard to do a spaghetti western that is a comedy, and they anticipated Blazing Saddles.
Oh, preceded Blazing Saddles.
But can't do a comedy western. Try telling that to Seth MacFarlane.
Trinity, yes.
That's horseshit.
No, it's the truth.
No, that's horseshit.
Whoa, oh, that is horseshit. Okay.
They Call Me Trinity is 71 or 72, something like that.
You know, the biggest problem with A Million Ways to Die in the West is that Seth's face is never going to be rugged enough to be an old-time western. That fucking shit shines like a goddamn animated chipmunk no matter what he's doing.
I never...
Hi, it's me! Perfectly capped showboy, chipmunk faith, Seth.
Did you guys actually watch it? I don't think
we watched it together. It wasn't bad.
Yep, it was...
See, finally. Finally.
Okay. No.
Yes, the one that eventually he goes into the shack. Then there is Doc Brown that covers the DeLorean.
Yes. Sure.
But anyways, and so the story goes that apparently, or at least this is one of the most credited story, there was supposed to be some sort like the gunfight at the OK Corral, and the responsible of the guns didn't show up on set. And so the director says, so why don't you just beat the living shit out of them?
Damn, that's where it came from?
Which I hope it's true.
Oh, okay.
Because it's one of the many stories.
Indiana Jones swordsman.
Yes, exactly.
But it became their shtick.
It became their shtick, and they were the choreographers. There was not they were amazing stunt, always the same. In all their movies, if you're looking around, you see all the same faces. Because it was, they always say, it was a ballet. There was the coordinator who was actually counting, and everybody knew exactly where to go. And very rarely something bad happened on the set. I mean, they rarely hit each other. It's all camera angle and various stuff like that. Because what?
I'm trying to slide in the joke.
Yeah.
I didn't have
please.
You tried to catch the breath.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Act like you're talking about it again.
Oh.
So you said that the guy that handled the guns didn't show up?
Yes.
So they couldn't film it?
Yes.
Never stopped.
Too soon, man.
I cannot put a graveyard. So that was the apparently the origin, or at least in They Call Me Trinity, it was the first time that they actually went full force with their brawls.
Just the cigars bother me.
Well, where are we at in the timeline when we get to Watch Out, We're Mad? because this thing works. Like the
Yes,
machine.
this one was pretty much the very first movie that they made present day. They did a few westerns. They did one called The Black Corsair, and they did another one which is called Più Forte Ragazzi. I don't know the English title, but it means something like. I know that you're gonna make some jokes, but the translation is harder, guys.
Like we're harder than most guys.
Speaking of things my scoutmaster said, harder, guys.
Pitch that tent.
I can't even feel for you back there.
In meaning, let's going full force, guys.
Okay.
And then that sense, which was the movie that Bud Spencer was most fond of because.
But he was.
Yeah. Because he started to learn how to fly, and then he became a pilot. This concludes the episode.
Just imagine him in the blue jumpsuit from Mania, whatever the fuck piece is. What? And he's in a red cape with goggles and he jumps off the roof of a shed. Because he thinks I'm just imagining Bud Spencer in the blue jumpsuit and he has a red towel tied around his head.
You're watching the live disintegration of this episode.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. You watered my dry contacts with the tears. All right, listen. Let's get in to the actual movie.
Yes.
Lot of good stuff. A word that Matteo used, which I instantly was like, "That's it." We were watching, and I was like, "Wow, this is great." And Matteo said, "It's." A word that Matteo used, which I instantly thought was great, was innocent, which really sums it up, funnily enough, in a movie.
That is your story in court tomorrow, correct?
Really sums up a movie that has so many brawls, but yes, still, from the way that they take to the childish one-upmanship of the opening race, to the childish who's going to get it of the the shared dune-buggy, and the resulting hot dog and beer eating contest. I love the way that everything just is like water off a duck's back, and even the most danger is just like a shrug. And then the in the Hats Off documentary we were watching, they talked about how Bud and Terrence actually didn't like the violence, so all of it was very comedic. Almost like a Batman fight. Oh, you're just missing the bow, plow, zippy.
They kind of like pride themselves that extremely rarely in their movies, once they became Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, of course, I mean the first spaghetti westerns, it was a necessity, but usually in their movies there is a very little gun violence. The actual violence is incredibly ridiculed. One of the most popular thing that Bud Spencer popularized, they called Il Piccione, which means the pigeon, and it's he was giving a punch on the forehead or on top of the head of the guys who usually were just like kind of like a drunken pigeon or something, and it was one of his signature move.
There's nobody here.
Like I said, reminded me a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle and any cartoon of that era, just with the cartoon violence that could be extreme if you looked at something versus like Tom and Jerry.
Well,
but it's always still toned down, and you realize everyone is okay afterwards. While they'll be up, no one's like getting their head twisted off or their throat slit.
No, exactly. It's and also in this movie you don't see it that much, but usually they love kids and they love animals. There is the movie I'm with the hippopotamus is exactly that. It's just like they are in Africa and they defend the animals from hunters and poachers.
Innocence. Everything, it's not just the scene at the end where they have the brawl surrounded by the balloons. It's not the most complex concept, and yet when I'm watching this, I get the sense of what you want from a project where there's a vision to this.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a massively complex thing to have a brawl in the middle of balloons, and yet I feel like they were like, okay...
That's a great name for something.
Brawl in balloons?
Brawl in balloons? Brawl in balloons?
Brawl in balloons.
Brawl in balloons.
It is a vision.
Sock 'em boppers.
Sock 'em boppers? Rock 'em, sock 'em.
Brawl in balloons.
A kind of a live action Rock 'em Sock 'em, just purr, purr,
Yeah.
purr, purr.
It's just part of the action with the world's only boxing robots, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Marx. Takes 2 managers to handle the fighters and lots of skill to win.
It's like everything works, and it really feels like they got it down to a fine-tuned machine, but not even in the way that like Hollywood cranks out sequels. It's like there's a joy and a passion, and like you said, an innocence, and I don't know, just a lot of joy, and the two of them work beautifully. I instantly could see how you could just ride this out for 18 movies. There's a... I'm kind of tongue-tied.
Almost an unspoken chemistry because
Yes.
they don't talk that much, and there's a... I think you said something where they just tolerate each other.
Yes.
More so than...
But it's not without its love.
No, of course.
But you're
it
right that you
just
get all
comes
that
off
in
as-
silence.
Yeah.
You don't have to say much,
Yes.
and I guess that's just the magic when two people work.
And also it's very nice because they complement each other. Terence Hill is the quick-witted, mischievous guy who usually drives the adversary crazy with his words and with his quick, swift action. Bud Spencer is just like he plows through everything. And one thing that he said, that he says it was fundamental, that his character was always one step behind. He could not be too astute.
Because it helps the...
It helps. It helps.
Here we go. Roll
Yes,
up the sleeves.
exactly.
Where did I walk into? Oh, Terrence did something again. Oh, Spade, why'd you let Farley guard the bees?
Oh, Spade. Why did you put Farley in charge of the bees? Hey, buddy, down in front.
But yes, that was the classic duality in every single movie. That Terence Hill usually was one step ahead of everybody, and Bud Spencer was always one step behind.
And the classic physicality.
Yes.
Lanky with stocky. Laurel and Hardy, Jay and Silent Bob.
R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Thank you. I don't know. I almost feel like I need a... let's talk about this element or this villain, this and that, because it's an orgy of love. I think that everything, especially as me, like, you probably love this movie, but you're in the world. This was an introduction, so I'm just like, across the board, like, that works, that works, that's fun, that's awesome.
I'm sorry?
You don't get to enjoy it this much this time.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
you gotta curb your...
I will
enthusiasm.
watch it while kneeling on uncooked beans.
Okay,
Ow.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about Donald Pleasance eating
Oh, thank you.
carrots?
Let's talk about him in general.
Like corn on the cob?
Oh, let's talk about the two of them.
Yes.
We have
And
an
then-
overgrown man baby dressed as such, speaking
John Sharp.
in a bizarre accent voice.
It's a cartoon character.
It works,
Yes.
but it's...
Rich.
Is the
What's the
Disney-
voice like? It's like, and then we go
the Disney-
That's the Queen of England.
No,
Yes.
what was the
But
voice?
it's some of that, like a rich safari hunter.
Burmo, against the tree, smashing! Yes, but the loser happens to be one of our guys. It's not who wins, it's how the game is played that counts.
Dude, the outfits.
It looked like I couldn't tell what it was, but it looked like it was pink and yellow peeps.
Like a baby.
With the baby baby pink bib. Why?
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
But again, it works. That's the funny thing is that old 1970s Disney movies, Austin Powers, buddy cop comedies, silent movies. There's so much, and like you said, yes, a lot of it post, some of it pre, like it's not silent, but silent influence of not a lot of words and physicality. But coming in as a newbie, okay, this guy is dressed as a giant baby speaking in a weird voice and he's a crime boss. The thugs are in tailored Italian suits out of a 1940s Dick Tracy comic, and the iconic Dr. Loomis is here
That's small potatoes.
as a wannabe Dr. Evil, instructing in evil
German
ways while he munches on raw carrots and sips milk out of a glass like he's Alex DeLarge in the Corona Milk Bar.
The spit takes with him, and then half the scene he has fucking milk dribbling down his chin.
But why does
he just
it
had a cum shot?
And
why is he eating carrots like corn on the cob?
Why does it all work is the other question. Why does everything, like, you come into a world and, you know, it has a certain way of welcoming you, the world building here, or the formula, or the shtick, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just like, you guys, from the fight scenes to the goofy villains to the what me worry attitude they bring to everything, the only time, okay, I thought of a couple specific things I want to highlight. Yes. The only time in the movie where actual drama, danger, and anger, despite the title, seems to happen is when the mechanic is beaten up.
Yes.
And you see on Bud's face that there's actually a cause for revenge as opposed to, all right, roll up the sleeves, we got to brawl again. And I also thought it was interesting that the classic end of Act 2 fight that separates the heroes lasted about 20 seconds here.
Yes.
All right, get out of my life. I don't want to see you. I'll see you around, not only by accident.
I love that line. I love that line.
I'll see you around. Only by accident. Wave to him. He was only being polite.
Because I know your apartment, I know where it is. This reminded me, in a way, maybe in a big way, of Kung Fu Hustle. Kung Fu Hustle.
MaJaMa points. Exactly.
Kung Fu Hustle does not...
Yes.
It's a way of saying I'm going to take a classic violent concept, do it completely goofily. And yet not distill it at all. I mean, granted, yes, if you're watching like a Tarantino Kill Bill fight or a like a The Raid type action, which I don't think I've seen, but I know of its of its reputation.
You should reference it then.
Obviously, you're not going to go to this and be like, I'm getting exactly the same thing, and yet it's not like you completely neuter the brawls by the goofball nature. I don't know. I just...
What's the movie with the beaver nunchucks?
Mel Gibson.
No.
The Kung Pao.
Kung Pao.
Kung Pao into the Fist?
Yes.
Never seen that, have we? Or did we?
I don't think so.
I did.
I need gopher chucks.
Can you guys rein in anything else specific? Because I really do want to talk about the specifics of the movie, but I'm just so enamored by the whole formula. And like we talked endlessly about the story of the two, which is important to know. But I want to get into more
driving through the balloons.
Car driving through
up and
the
down
balloons.
the steps, through the balcony, crushing everything, destroying everyone.
And interestingly,
Stunning vision.
that part has no music.
We didn't talk about the song.
Yeah, the whole
funny.
car destruction with the balloons. There is no music.
But it happens when they start fighting.
It starts exactly when they start fighting, which is Dum-Buggy by the Oliver Onions, aka, also known as Guido and Maurizio De Angelis, two brothers, musicians, who have done a good 50% at least.
They don't need to do anything else besides this song.
Yes.
That's all I need.
And again, speaking of Everything Works, hey guys, I got a song for the movie. I was thinking we'd play it 6 times, and
Yes.
To me personally, when it popped up, it was just like, here comes the fighting music, even though they weren't fighting.
Which is funny because this is the antithesis of what you would think would happen during a fight.
Exactly.
It's almost, again, comparing to other jokes, Chris Farley in Dirty Work.
Looks like there's gonna be a brawl. You playing something good?
Hell yeah! Rolling Stones, street fighting man, G7!
You just hit G8.
If you like pina coladas, bring it on!
Or even Shaun of the Dead, someone mistakenly put on Queen while they beat the shit out of the zombies.
Where the hell did he come from?
I don't know.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself.
Who the hell put this on? Some random.
For fuck's sake!
Okay, Diane, get them somewhere safe. David, kill the Queen. What's the jukebox?
Again, DNA aplenty of this movie with others.
And also one important thing, I think, that it was one of the good reason of success of this of their movies. You knew what you were gonna get when you were going to see a new Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movie, and it wasn't offensive, and it wasn't insulting the intelligence, and it was for the whole family.
Yes!
I remember my grandfather loved them because it was fun, and it was just like something that it was so unique to them. And then they started to do other clones of them.
Yeah.
There was even a movie called, it's a very bizarre movie, called Arrivano Joe e Margherito, which means literally, here they comes, it's Joe and Margarito, with none other than Tom Skerritt and Keith Carradine.
Tu hai finito? Dai, vieni! Eh sì, ho finito.
And it was an attempt of launching a new duo, which tanked spectacularly, as well as they tried to do a few movies with your friend Paul Smith and Michael Colby.
Have Bud Spencer and Paul Smith ever done anything together?
No. I don't think they even ever crossed paths. They knew of each other, of course. But
Because of their look?
Yes, and because, of course, Paul Smith was shoved into this attempt of cloning.
Yeah, imagine them in the classic Marx Brothers mirror.
Yes.
Maybe one day with CGI we can redo it.
Yeah, we can resurrect Bud Spencer.
Yeah. Is Paul Smith dead?
Yes. We can resurrect both of them. Or just like having two coffins. Just like beating each other.
Are they buried together? Just throw them both in there. You can't tell them apart. Their families can't pick them out.
Nine!
The carnival setting.
Yes.
One of the many things. Okay. So, sparsity that still works. How much time, and I appreciate this for how cliche it is, how much time did we spend on Terrence chasing the carnival girl. That much.
Yes.
And yet, it doesn't feel like a Castaway. You don't feel like, why is it here? It's charming enough when it happens. Why does everything work? It's because this was the umpteenth movie by them. It's just, everything in this movie is wonderful and innocent and fun and family-friendly and entertaining. And, we didn't really guffaw, but yet fun throughout. And just zippy and pleasant and, I don't know, man. It's great. I'm trying to pick out the individual things, but like if you're watching this movie is fantastic.
Seriously, I think of a Hanna-Barbera cartoon from the early 70s.
Live-action cartoon gets thrown around a lot, but this is almost a definitive live-action cartoon.
Plus, you can picture them like we said, the opposing looks and the costumes, outfits they wear as a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Even the villains, Donald Pleasance reminded me of the monocle dude from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yes.
Yeah, they're almost, again, the villains in a worser, a poorer written, in a not as good movie, none of that was eloquent, they would be like, these are fucking caricatures, this is a joke, and yet everything,
plus they're in the restaurant for most of the movie, right?
95% of it until the end.
Yeah.
My old wheelhouse of tone, like when you get, because when you get tone right, you can do magic, and this movie got the tone right, and therefore anything it decides to do works. I was even thinking how brutal the thugs in the opening scene take to smashing the place up, and yet you don't lose the sense of how brutally they're smashing it, and yet you said if you were going to sit down with the family, I don't think even a young child would ever be like, oh my God, there's it's magic. They worked magic, and I like the fact you brought up that the whole family could watch it, because I didn't even think about that much.
All of their movies is
there's not a mean bone. Even the guy gets beat up and there's pain on Bud's face because of it, but even then you're safe. Like this is a fun, safe, family friendly world.
Because of course in a more realistic movie they would have killed him. Of course. Probably even in a Western they would have killed him.
Or at the very least it would be like, damn, he's going to be in the hospital for a while as opposed to just bouncing back.
Instead after 2 scenes he's already there with them and
I thought he was crushed by the car at first.
No, don't hit me no more. I don't know nothing. No, please. Jeremiah, it's me, Ben. Oh, it's you.
And also one of the things that is characteristic of them, mostly when, sometimes in the solo movies, but mostly when they are together, how unflappable they are in front of
anything.
Yes, I mean they have the guy sets their car on fire, and they're just like going.
And not arrogant or cocky or pretentious or.
It's a magic trick.
Yes,
it's a magic trick.
Even when the guys say "Get out of the car" or "Smack it."
Get out or I'll smash you.
Beg your pardon?
I said get out.
What for?
If you don't get out, I gotta splat the car. The whole car.
Well, why do you gotta splat the whole car?
Huh? 'Cause I gotta.
Huh. What did he say? He said he got it. Yeah? Now, does that sound like a reasonable answer?
It's very
right. Your mind's blown.
It's almost like having the power of Superman. So you're just cocky, be like, "Yeah, do whatever you want, man. I can flicker you like this and pop your head off."
Yeah,
it's very interesting charisma that they bring to this,
and just the right amount of genuine irritation to it, so that it's not, for instance, the Superman thing. I remember a critique of The Matrix Reloaded was Neo has come back, he's just now Superman, and there's no more boring superhero than the Invincible Man. So it's not even like the guys shrug off everything to the detriment. Like for instance, I didn't think so, but a lot of reviews were saying the constant, quote-unquote, constant silliness of the new Thor, Love and Thunder, makes it harder to take the serious part seriously. One might say if Terrence and Bud shrugged off everything, you might be like, but there's no narrative heft. I don't feel that.
No.
And it's, again, the point of acting is to convince. We talked about you buy Jay Leno as a cop in Collision Course. Okay, I'm with it. I buy him. Like,
he was playing a cop?
You get those...
Not the Asian. He was the other one.
Hard to tell them apart.
Yeah.
Am I wrong here?
May I have the pleasure? The pleasure's all yours.
$18 movies.
Yes.
Together. Where does that put them in the Guinness records of on-screen duos? Because I can't think of a single fucking iconic duo that made that many. Am I wrong? Correct me if I am.
Yeah, correct him.
Correct me. Make me look stupid on film.
How many for Abbott and Costello?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking
of
Abbott
course.
and Costello.
Duh. There we go, idiot boy.
I was thinking of them. And, of course, Laurel and Hardy. Not necessarily long... yeah.
All right, mission accomplished of making me look stupid. But I will say, let's say more modern ones.
Okay.
Okay, Abbott and Costello and Laurel and Hardy, great examples, completely probably trounced them. Abbott and Costello did God knows how many movies, at least equaled them. But I'm saying modern, in my dumbass millennial world, not a lot of...
You can't.
No.
Why would you say
I don't know, I'm just trying to be right. No, but seriously, it is fascinating because, yes. Well,
there is another Italian duo, Franco Franchi and Ciccio Ingrassia.
That's a what?
Their
That's
names.
how many people?
Yes. They're famous here for being in a movie called Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, something like that.
These are all great names.
Yes.
There's not enough time to film all the episodes we need to do.
Yeah.
With Vincent Price also.
In the Bikini Machine?
Yes.
After you.
In the park today. He's the Chinaman. Oh! I'll give him
This one's on me.
Susie's thing.
They did a lot of movies because they were specialized in almost instant parodies. They were doing like there was a fistful of dollars, and they did For a Fist in Your Eye.
Almost like an epic or date movie, but with two actual characters that continue.
Yes,
that's a smart idea.
Because at the time, they needed material. There was television was much smaller in terms of there wasn't the 24 hours broadcast, and there was a time where they were shooting 8 movies at the same time. So yes,
I guess at least if you're playing the same characters, it kind of helps.
Yeah, they even did one of the last movies with Buster Keaton.
Sta suonando la marcia funebre.
Diavolo, signor generale.
Pollice verso, siamo spacciati. Signor generale, la responsabilità è tutta sua. Io sono un subalterno. Lo faccia per i suoi figli. Zitto. Che c'è? Sappi morire bene. Ma io non ci sono abituato, ma che dici?
MaJaMa.
Also, let's, as a quick note, let's chuckle at ourselves, and while it's always good to be ambitious as possible, let's 18 movies of them, and we're like, if we made a second movie, how do we differentiate our characters? We can't just play the same archetypes again. 18 movies, and everyone loved it.
Yes.
Okay, so, kind of feels like wrap-up time, but is there anything else we could highlight? We talked a lot about how great it is, but I feel like we didn't highlight specific stuff. Maybe you can't. Maybe it's one of those things where it's just wall-to-wall great, and it's a joyous roller coaster.
You have to experience them because it's very hard to convey the fact that these are two guys who work. First of all, they were incredible friends in real life. They became.
You feel the heart.
Yes.
Throughout.
Yes, and you feel the respect.
You feel the coziness. I want to watch them again and be like, I'm in
exactly.
this world. They can't hurt here. They're going to fight anyone who comes to hurt us, no matter how many
guys. It's a sitcom infomercial world we always talk about where everything's going to be okay, and everything's going to turn out all right. Don't worry about it.
Damn, now you just made my love for by describing it, my love double for it.
And
almost got a little bit, little bit.
Beg your pardon?
Almost got a little.
Yeah, I ain't disputing. I told myself, Joe, I try to stay away from the sexual overtones.
She wants to go. She just want to go for a ride. I take her for a ride. I mean, nothing. I ain't mean no harm. I'm trying to do nothing I shouldn't be doing. I mean, she's just pervert. Nothing else.
No pervert.
No, I mean, she wants to go ride. I take her for a ride. Try not to be disrespectful.
And also, apparently, they were the inspiration for the good guys.
Oh yes, thank you. I wanted to bring that up too. The good guys.
All right, here we go.
With
really?
Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, which I thought was great. They did a great job. Also, they did a great job because he actually watched it, Who Despises Crowe, so salute for getting him to watch that. But yes, even physically, the blonde hair, the skinnier, the stockier, the beard, which, again, the DNA, all pull from it, so many pulls. This is great.
Good.
This is,
I'm glad you like it.
This is great.
It was great. Those dynamic duos, when they work, they work.
This just feels like a well to go to for how to get things right. Other than the fact that I thought the choir gag went on a little bit too long, and I was getting restless with the repetitious noise of it. It's the only thing I could really say is like, but man, I just feel like
It was very long for the not too much of a payoff of the gag.
Like, good way to put it. You could have axed that in half and had
Just,
the same
okay,
gag.
I got the gun.
Yes.
But other than that, how can I create characters that have a genuine sense of liking each other? How do I have my characters have chemistry? How do I use tone to pull off a world building I'd like to have where anything goes? How do I make it this but keep it for the family? How do I orchestrate a gag? Blah blah, on and on and on. It's a well. It's a fucking.
Not only that, but they are so unique that it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's almost a blasphemy trying to remake them, but it's kind of like why did Steve Martin, who is a genius, try to do the Pink Panther? The Inspector Clouseau by Peter Sellers is unique. You cannot replicate that.
One should always handle an antique vase from the inside. Otherwise, the oil from the ends can damage the patina. Oh, pure alabaster. Lovely. That's odd. Well, they did they went like this, and then...
You know, Mr. Tucker? Oh, it's my barrel, man. My hand. I'm sorry. Sit down.
There are some characters that are embodied by the actor who plays them. Sadly, on March the 23rd, 2022, the remake of Watch Out We're Mad came out to Italy.
What?
What?
Dune-buggy rossa con capottina gialla.
Già. Sì, È lei. È lei. È lei. Ah! Te l'ho detto io. È lei, guarda. È bella, eh? Sì, la ricordi. Sì, è proprio bella. Solo che io me la ricordavo un po' più grande.
No.
No, eh?
No. The movie, as I understand, is the story of the sons of Bud Spencer in that universe.
Oh, it's not a
It's kind of like a remake. There is the dim-buggy and everything, but it's, as they say, really not a new idea. So it's not only America who remakes the movies pointlessly. Italy is getting there too.
Copying us again.
Nine!
So, let's vote on this wonderful cherry poppin' experience of I got introduced to Bud and Terrence. This is great. I'm going to start it off.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult for me only because do I want to go with 0 or 1? You know what?
Is it for the choir scene?
I was thinking about that. It's not that much of a detriment.
If we can do it legally, can we put the choir scene music next to the Poltergeist opening theme to see how close it is? Because holy shit, the whole time I was listening to it.
It's still one that I don't know, and you guys
I'm not sure if we can. I'll try.
Okay, if we can, I need to hear us together.
Okay.
Because it was just fucking haunting me the entire time. What is this?
I think there's both so much goodness here just as a casual moviegoer to enjoy, and also so much as a student. And also just, I really keep coming back to the innocence and what you said. I really, really, really like that you said the whole family can enjoy it. I think family entertainment, when you're lads like us that like the explicit, gory type of weirdo stuff, sometimes can be a dirty word. Not so much for you, but sometimes I get up my own ass like family movies. But this is great. This is a great thing that the whole family could sit down
We love
and enjoy,
family
and it doesn't
movies.
skimp on it. You're right.
Our favorite fucking TV shows.
I'm just trying to get them. I'm trying to make fun of my own pretentiousness. Sometimes I get my head up my ass with that type of stuff. But you know what? You're right. I'm throwing nothing. This was a great introduction, and I think everything works. And I love that people made a product that comes down so much to enjoyment for people. People put this on to have a good time. That's what it's about. Kudos from a first-time kid introduced to them. I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to see more. You guys should check it out if you haven't done so. A blast.
I am throwing 1 behind me as a negative 1.
Okay.
It was great. It was,
Oh, wow.
It was a live-action cartoon.
Yes.
I absolutely loved it. I would love to see these characters in a million more movies. I'd love to see an animated TV series. I would love action figure adaptations. I keep imagining and drawing like the Scooby-Doo, Hanna-Barbera type characters with the swirly eyes with the little
Oh my
half
God.
circles around them. It's fucking great. Absolutely in love.
I tried, when I thought about doing movies that were, like Mateo brings in movies, like I already know this one, like, oh, if I brought in one of my pre-movies that I adored, how would I express that? I never thought of throwing behind to do a -1. Like, oh, I would want to remove, like you did with Wild Beast, I would throw every piece of paper if I could have hated so much. That's perfect, dude, -1. I almost wish I'd done that.
All right. And I was saying I want to vote a -1 myself.
Let's do it.
So, all right, because I think, well, first of all, I grew up with them, and I adore them. I enjoy. I'm genuinely happy to have a movie that I knew that we could watch it with my grandfather and my grandmother, my mom and dad, myself and my brother, and everybody was actually having fun without being insulted or offended by something too stupid.
And I feel like it's very rare.
It is incredibly rare.
Very,
It is incredibly rare.
To have the whole shebang of the family be entertained.
Yes.
Pixar's maybe is the closest, where
Yes.
everybody can kind of get fed, if you will.
MaJaMa.
I think if memory doth serve, because this man actually keeps a fucking recorded binder of it, I think this is the highest rated, beating out the previous champ of Hell's a Poppin'.
Yep.
If you happen to not have watched that episode, please watch Hell's a Poppin' and test Crazy House soon. I gotta do fucking Crazy House, the sequel. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh,
we will.
Yeah.
I forgot about
See? Whoo!
We will.
Well, guys, it's always fun when we can have something new discovered on this show, no matter which one of it is. We've been Mateo's talked about us for these guys for a while. I'm glad we finally did it. Please check them out. And, yeah, the highest of all time for the jams.
It also seems really nice to go to a signing convention and Bud Spencer signs your DVD and then gives you a hug afterwards. Just feels like it would be a very loving, caring kind of
the way you
unit.
talked about John C. Reilly in the promotion.
Yeah.
A kind monkey uncle.
Yes.
Hey, it's Uncle Bud. Ah, kids, big bear hug. Ah, tussle the hair. Let's toss the football around. I'll act like when you tackle me it hurts.
I met him only once, unfortunately, because I would have loved to.
Picture?
No.
Damn. Cigarette?
Cigarette?
Yes, I know.
But he was absolutely lovely. It was just like one. I remember that.
Very kind face. Very kind eyes.
It was at the Telegatto, the Italian Emmy, and they gave him for I think a TV show he was making at the time, and he said, "This is the first award I got for acting," and there was an applause of about 2 minutes. That was the most love that I've seen, that I witnessed, that I was part of it.
Oh, you were in the audience?
Yeah, and it was amazing. Because you see that everybody knew who he was, what he did, and everybody, doesn't matter who they were, they loved through and
Just
through.
comes off so genuine.
Yeah.
Voglio ringraziare per questo premio che è il primo dopo 22 anni di carriera che ricevo in Italia.
Hai visto te applauso? He's a great man. Okay.
Grazie veramente.
You mentioned Telegatto is an Italian Emmy?
Yes.
Is that what those 3 things sitting on your shelf over there are?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
3 Italian Emmys?
As soon as they found out that I took them, they're gonna kill me.
What's that stupid
We're
ass?
backstage! Let's grab and go!
What's that stupid
What's that little
star
one?
thing?
Oh, that's for a movie called Bad CGI Sharks, I think, or
That
something
won
like
an
that.
award?
Won an award.
Oh yeah, that little award there, I
A
think,
British
is for
award.
winning Best Comedy Feature at the Lit Laughs International Comedy Festival. That's us. Oh, you those don't think the movie's funny. The British gave us a fucking award.
Yeah.
All right.
If only it was intentionally funny.
Because we made the closing credits.
MaJaMa.
I was going to ask you when we were watching if the exact question. Like, it seems like they make a rule of never having.
There is usually there are always something like. There was a sound.
It was. It almost sounded like the boo 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 baba.
Yeah.
Is that a mythical demon that visits you at night?
The boo 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 baba. The sequel to the Babadook, the boo 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 baba. Listen, no one can say this goddamn thing. The boo 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 baba.
Is the stuttering demon? I do something bad.